What up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a special Saturday evening edition of the Cafecito and Kane Show. Of course, we have some news to cover just today alone. Well, actually, this weekend, because one of them was last night. So far this weekend, we have not one, not two, but three key portal acquisitions to go over. So let's dive right in. Last night, of course, James Brockermeyer, you got the veteran center from TCU, 1 year of eligibility remaining. This is a nice pickup because while I think you could have rolled the dice and gone with what you had in the room, only because I thought Ryan Rodriguez really progressed last year. He was playing guard in that first game against Florida, but the last two seasons you've depended on a veteran coming out of the portal. 2 years ago, Matt Lee. This year, Zach Carpenter. Both did great jobs for the offensive line. And center is like the brain of that O-line. They're really important, very important position, helps everybody get lined up, etc. So that tells me that, this coming season is no different. Mario understands the importance of a veteran center that knows what he's doing, can snap that ball clean, can keep his composure, can use his smarts, use his brain to kind of read the defense. So I think bringing him in to likely be the day one starter was a key acquisition. He's a touch smaller, stands at 6'3", listed at 295, probably a touch over 300, but only allowed one sack last year. I like those stats. That's a reliable dude. I think he had like a pass blocking grade of like 80.2, 80.4, something like that. So this is a game-tested, battle-tested veteran. I like the pickup, like 932 snaps in his career. So again, while you could have maybe plugged in a Ryan Rodriguez, you could have maybe given SJ some burn there. But remember, you're going through a bit of a gauntlet early in that season. You got Notre Dame, you got Florida in 2 out of the first 4 games. And I think this also tells me that the run game is going to be featured a little bit more this coming season. I think we're going to rely on it more. We're going to lean on it a little bit more. So having an experienced, battle-tested center like Brockermeyer, I think, is huge. So nice pickup there. Really solidifying that room. I don't really see us going after anybody else outside of it being like a possible first round, like truly impact guy. I like who we have on the outside with Bell, Maui Noah. You could always kick Maui Noah inside and put McCoy at right tackle. We've talked about that the last 2 years now. That's always an option. Rodriguez, of course, when he gets healthy, he's an option to start at center. Inez Cooper is a future NFL guard. I like who we got. And then, of course, you got Pancake, who now year 3 in the program, year 3 in that strength and conditioning and all that stuff. I think he will feature into the rotation. Obviously, he's very talented, very athletic for being a big guy. He just really had to add strength the last 2 years. So he'll be at least part of that rotation. Juan, Happy New Year, my friend. Thank you for being on. Flo, yes, with his little devil emojis. Hopefully the good news, this isn't it. Hopefully there's more good news, if not coming tonight, maybe coming tomorrow. Certainly over the next few days, but hopefully there's more coming. John, do you know about the undercover Mr. QB? We are courting with multiple years of eligibility. No, not the USC QB. I don't know. I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out here soon. I don't want to do what the media has done in past years and say the name and then, blow it for the team. Believe me, over the years, I feel like the media or somebody has let the cat out of the bag a little too early, and it cost us a recruit. It has happened many times. I am not going to be the one that does that. Although the name, I'll give you a hint, the name has been tossed around here and there subtly if you've paid attention. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, I would say I feel good. I feel pretty confident about the quarterback position heading into next year. I'm not saying anything's done. Nothing look, this portal thing is so hard to predict. You could get word from a reliable source that yo, it's happening, done deal, making the edit right now, they could change their mind the next minute. You know, some other team can come in with a late offer that they can't refuse. And that's the problem with there being no guardrails to this thing. So I am cautiously optimistic, let's say that, about the QB position and all of the positions. I think we're gonna be just fine talent-wise heading into next year. I just hope it gets wrapped up soon. And we know who we got going into the spring. Hopefully Dawson stays. I would love to get a third year of him. But yeah, that's my answer on that situation. You, John, we understand. Yeah, you're right. How do you like O'Connor? Oh, a question for Flo. But I will answer that one as well. I want to cover all three. So I just covered Brockermeyer. Then after Brockermeyer, earlier today, this afternoon, we landed Alex Bauman. Alex Bauman, 6'5", 245, 250, Tulane tight end. I believe he also comes with 1 year of eligibility left. And he, I like his athleticism. I like his size, his length. Let's see, 2022, 23, 24. He may have 1 more year of eligibility than I thought, but I'll look into that. Because according to ESPN, he had 8 catches for 112 yards in 2022. Did he play more than 4 games in 2022? That I don't know. That I couldn't tell you at the moment. But he is one that adds much needed depth to the room. I believe that Elijah Lofton, that tight end 1 position, that's his to lose. He's the starter. With what he's shown so far, what he showed at the bowl game, he proved to everybody that, yeah, he is who we thought he was. Elijah Lofton's that dude, and then some. As a blocker, as a receiver, hell, even as a ball carrier. If you need him to get 10, 12 snaps at running back, he'll be a great running back. He's that good. So Elijah Lofton, that's your tight end 1. I like this dude coming in and being your backup. He's a nice red zone threat. He knows how to high point the ball. He knows how to use his length and his height. Has solid hands. And I believe was it 7 touchdowns last year? 1 second. Yes, 7 touchdowns last year. So yeah, he could be that nice red zone threat for you. And then I talked about Elijah. He's also a great blocker. That addition makes me feel a lot better, especially after losing Riley Williams. You need another threat there in the passing game. So I like the pickup. He's not a guy that's going to come in and be a day 1 starter. He's not, he's not going to surpass Elijah Lofton, in my opinion. But it's a nice depth piece and a nice rotational piece that's going to be used a lot. Let's just say that. Flo says, I like the additions, all the additions so far. I agree, Flo. There's not an addition that left me scratching my head, to be quite honest with you. All of them have been quality, in my opinion. They all serve some kind of a purpose, whether it's like, oh, this guy's day 1 starter, impact guy, like a Poiser, like CJ Daniels. And then there's like the more glue guys, like a Charles Brantley, or like, a project like Emmanuel Carnley. Although Carnley, I don't want to use the word project with him, because that insinuates that, oh, he's not game ready right now. It may take a couple of years for him to really be ready. I don't think so. I think he can give you quality snaps now. His tape was solid last year. His PFF grades were not good at all. But as we've learned, that, like with anything in football, requires context. All the football people love his tape. And some of them even said, hey, there were certain games he looked better than Takario, his teammate. Takario Davis is a superstar. So, and he comes in at 6'3", 185 pounds, nice size. He'll probably add a little bit more meat to his bones, so, but that height, 6'3" for a cover corner, that's nice to have. That's a nice weapon. And I think he's good clay. I think he's a guy that can be molded. And then maybe by 2026, by next season, even by the time Damari's gone and drafted into the NFL, I think he could be your next starter in line after Damari leaves. That's what I think Carnley is. I think he needs a year to cook a little bit, get some reps, get some experience. He could be, he could rotate in a lot, but not be the guy you depend on. Brantley, I think he could be a guy you depend on. He can come in and basically compete for starting snaps. He's not day one starter because you got OJ and you got Damari. He can maybe be day one starter in the slot. We'll see. But yeah, I also like every pickup. But that being said, the third pickup this weekend, second today, was Ethan O'Connor. Ethan O'Connor, he's probably my favorite of the 3 corner pickups. He, I think, is the most game ready and maybe not the most battle tested. That would be Brantley. He's like more of the veteran, but O'Connor comes in also with 3 years remaining, but he's a little bit more of a playmaker. And I think he's a little bit more ready that if somebody got hurt, let's say, hey, I need somebody to come in and start, I would think O'Connor is that next guy. The competition at that position is going to be sick because remember, you still have OJ for a couple more years. You still have Damari Brown. They are really loading up at corner. And then playing time, yes. Then you got the situation with that dude who I would have to imagine they're going to let him free and let him hit the portal at some point. And you got to believe Miami's going to be interested if and when he does. Being from our backyard, being from American Heritage, which is a DB factory, I think they're going to kick the tires there. He's versatile. He can maybe even play some safety for you. So, and then Damari, another guy that can play little slot, little safety. Yeah, there's a couple guys that I mentioned that are very versatile. You can move them around. I was hoping Jadaeus Richard would be a guy that you can push back to safety. I think he's a better safety than a corner, but him having having a significant injury that late in the season, very likely he's just going to miss all of 2025. I'm not a doctor. I've been a football fan for a long time. I know how those things go. They take like a year roughly. I'm thinking likely he's going to miss most of, if not all of the next year. And then you kind of put him on the shelf and he comes back next year. I think he could work in as a safety. But back to O'Connor really quick. Yeah, I love the O'Connor pickup. I remember when he visited, I think it was December 15th was his visit. I remember hearing that he loved his visit. He had nothing but good things to say about Miami. Great cover corner, and someone who can complement OJ Frederick really well. And you're on top of competition, you're going to have great rotation with all those guys. Say, I'm not saying this is going to happen. I hope this doesn't happen, but say Damari has some kind of a setback. God forbid. I hope not. But now you got serious depth. Now you got guys you could rotate. Now you got guys. And when you have depth and competition like that, it forces everybody to get better. So where you may be lacking a bit in the coaching department, when you just have layers and layers of talent and they're competing against each other day in and day out at Green Tree, they will make each other better. So I think that helps. Carlos Flores, we are stacking some really good players now, so the room is starting to get interesting to see who emerges from this group, and I'm sure somebody will probably leave. Yeah, that's why I was surprised you land him, and even landing him, I'm sure if and when Lucas hits the portal, there's going to be interest there. That's going to be a crowded room. And in today's college football with the portal and everything where they could just up and leave and get playing time somewhere else, I'm pleasantly surprised. Knowing the situation, knowing that, hey, you got Damari and OJ in front of you, good luck. You better compete for your job. They're still coming in. Exactly, Jacoby. That's a good problem to have. Back in the day, we had studs like that. Ed Reed was starting. He knew he had Sean Taylor right behind him. Mike Rumpf was starting. He knew he had Kelly Jennings right behind him, and so on. Friggin' Reggie Wayne knew he had a freshman Andre Johnson right behind him. It's a great problem, and that's what all the top level teams have. Is like, if I'm nicked up and I better not come out of the game because 5-star fill in the blank right behind me might take my job. We didn't have that in the secondary. We had that in other positions. We had that a little bit on the D-line. We had it at running back. We had it, I would say we had it at receiver to a degree. I wish we would have used it a little bit more, but we had it at receiver. But definitely at corner and safety, I feel like we didn't have the depth I thought we did. Now we do. Who's our nickel? Yeah, probably Charles Brantley. Bringing in a veteran like him that only has so much eligibility remaining, I would have to say that yes, Brantley's probably the guy you plug and play at slot corner right now. And that's another thing. In today's football, not just college, NFL, you need a lot of DBs. It's such a pass-heavy league. It's such a pass-heavy sport now. And it's such an athlete-heavy sport. And now you need slot corners and safeties to come up and stop the run. You need them to kind of do everything. And you need speed and quickness on the field. You can't have too many of guys like this. And Brantley tackles really well. So if I had to say, yes, that is the dude that I would plug in at slot corner right now. Probably for like the starter for the spring. We are setting ourselves out nicely for 2016. I think you mean 2026, not 2016. Brockermeyer is a bridge for SJ. Bauman is a bridge for Scott. Brock Schott. Yeah, the tight end. We get ourselves a year one QB transfer for nickel. Yeah, I agree. I think getting a lot of these guys that are bridges for the next players, huge. And then of course you got the wide receiver position. Of course, the Branch brothers are in the rumor mill. They were visiting. You could land Zachariah. And as a result, you get his brother Zion, who is a decent safety. I think he could also factor into the rotation, assuming he's healthy. The only thing with him is the injuries. If he stays healthy, he's a quality player. I think he could compete for snaps. He could be in that rotation. If Zaquan has to come out of the game, there's Zion. And he's 6'2", 210, 215. Good size, good athleticism. Wide receiver still concerns me. Yeah, well, like I'm saying, if you land Zachariah, it's not a concern anymore. He's that big of a playmaker. And if you land, it's a package deal. You get him and his brother. You get a superstar receiver. Probably will start in the slot, but he's not like slot only like Xavier Restrepo was, that he's like a prototypical slot. You don't move him from there. Zachariah just has game-breaking speed. You can move him around anywhere and like find a mismatch. Also, he's a game breaker in the return game. You can put him at punt returner. You can put him at kick returner. So that solves two problems. Then you bring in his brother, who's a safety. You desperately need numbers at safety right now, quality depth. He provides that. If he stays healthy, that solves three problems, bringing in those two players. And then if you bring in Zachariah, honestly, I'm good. You can pretty much roll with what you got. Zachariah, CJ Daniels, and then you got JoJo, whoever you have in house, JoJo, Nikar, Chance Robinson. I'm good with that. I'd ride with those. I ride with those five guys. Let's see. I was gonna pimp down. What were you saying? What's up, John? I know we've got our new DC. What's his name? What? Happy New Year, Canes fan. Yeah, again, I don't like to speak too soon. I have an idea of who it is. But let's see. Now, all the guys we've been getting, especially in the secondary, sounds great on paper. Awesome. I love who we've picked up so far. I honestly do. Not a single pickup has left me scratching my head thinking, what are they doing? Why are they bringing in this guy? They all make sense to me. That's not to say that they're all going to be great this year. Remember, you still need a defensive coordinator that's going to utilize their talents to the best of his ability. It's like when Manny Diaz came in 2016. Yes, he sucked as a head coach. He was an amazing defensive coordinator. With pretty much the same squad and three true freshmen at linebacker, okay, he came in 2016 with Mark Richt, installed his system. What Cane fans have been clamoring for years at the time. We were playing that BS 2-gap system that didn't belong with that South Florida athletes didn't belong in. He switched it up to a 4-3, an attacking 4-3 that we blitzed a lot, that we blitzed from all angles, used our downhill speed, and it worked perfectly. If you can have somebody like that can come in and figure out what the hell's wrong, clean it up, fix the communication issues, and simplify. Honestly, like the last dude, one of the things about his defense is that it's notoriously complicated. I think you need to come in year one. It needs to be something a little more simple, a little easier for the guys to grasp, especially with all these new faces. They haven't played together yet. Something easy to grasp. I want to see the tackling improve, obviously. That'll be more the assistant coaches working on that. And also just bringing in better talent, which we have already. I need to see somebody come in and just install the system that works for these players. And it all needs to mesh well. Until we get that, I don't know how this defense is going to look. All I can tell you is I like the pieces that they're adding. They all make sense and they're all quality. Get the right DC, this can really take off. But that's a big if. Seems like Miami is done with reaching in recruiting high school kids with smaller recruiting classes like they had this year. They seem like they are also picking quality over quantity in the portal. Yes, definitely quality over quantity was the name of the game here this season. Last year and the year, especially the year before, I mean, you're just filling in spots with bodies. Last year, it was getting, a little bit more quality, especially in the O-line. They rebuilt the O-line beautifully last year with Matt Lee and Jadeon Cohen and plugging in Maui Noah, 5-star freshman, did a great job. There was some quality, but now they're really going for big fish. They're really going for impact guys and guys that make sense. Also, getting these guys that have 3 years of eligibility left, that is almost like getting a high school kid. So it's not so much, you got to balance the high school kids with the portal kids, obviously, but it's become not so much a game of getting enough high school kids so they stick around. You just got to get guys with eligibility left. It doesn't matter as much if are they portal or did we grab them out of high school? How many years of eligibility do they have left? That's what really matters at the end of the day, and that's what it's become. Been a fan since 83. I remember hearing the Miami, Nebraska 83 on the radio at my grandmother's house in Little Havana. And hearing that 2-point conversion call, I went nuts in the car. Yeah, I unfortunately wasn't born yet, but I've seen the game. I've seen the game from beginning to end when Kenny Calhoun knocked the 2-point conversion away, sealed the victory. Yeah, for you youngins that weren't even close to being born yet, Miami's first championship in 83 when we beat Nebraska, it was in the Orange Bowl, back when the Orange Bowl game was played in the actual Orange Bowl. Miami won 11-1. They lost their opening game to Florida. Bernie Kosar, I want to say either true freshman quarterback or redshirt freshman quarterback, got his butt handed to him by the Gators. Week 1. They won every game after that and played. At the time, 83 Nebraska was considered the greatest team of all time. You can go back and read up on it, look it up. They were looked at as the greatest team of all time. They were thumping people by 50, 60 points every single week. And we pulled off a monumental upset. So if you have a little time, if you're young, if you haven't, we won a championship in 83, but you don't know anything about it, look into that. It's a fun watch. Who would you like to be defensive coordinator and why? Definitely somebody who is proven, if it's somebody that even has a little head coaching experience, I would love that. Somebody like a Muschamp, although he's got a nice cushy situation at Georgia, so to pull him away would be tough, but somebody like him, Muschamp, I would not be upset whatsoever. Mel Tucker, I know he's had his issues in the past, but if they're willing to do that, Mel Tucker would be a nice get. Head coaching experience, defensive experience. They both have experience calling plays, but they can really be the captain, the head coach of that defense, so to speak. That's the phrase everybody's been throwing around, right? Head coach of the defense. Mario wants to give that person full autonomy. Either one of those two guys, I would trust with that with that defense. Just give them the keys and let them handle it. And let them handle the hiring too. Let them bring in their own people. That way, you are on the same page with your assistants. There's no communication issues like there's been so many times in the past. Happy New Year, go Canes. Banks. Tim Banks is another good one. That's another good name. I wouldn't mind that at all. Clint Hurt has experience calling plays. He has been in the NFL now, coaching in the NFL for 10 years. And many people, many NFL people like him a lot. And he's still a young guy. He's still like only in his 40s, 45, 46. People forget when he was coaching here at Miami back in the late 2000s, he was super young. He's learned a lot since then, and a lot of people in the NFL rave about him. So Clint Hurt would be like in my top 3, top 4. Wouldn't be upset at all about that. And he's a defensive line guy, which to me, that's the first most important thing. You need a front 4 that can get to the quarterback. We had the talent, I thought, this season at the front 4. I just thought it was misused and mismanaged with all the stunts and everything. And, just overall, like as players, I think they just underperformed a bit. I think Clint Hurt can get the most out of that defensive line. One's running free. Yes, that is 100% true. I believe that. But John, I thought Miami was broke. I think we all know that that's not the case. And that's why I think we can get pretty much whoever we want as a defensive coordinator if money is the deciding factor. Give Al Bundy Colvin some credit. What about this kid, Noah Thomas, good receiver with size, said yesterday Miami was one of the favorites to land him. I like Noah Thomas a lot, actually. Noah Thomas would be a good, plan B if Zachariah Branch falls through. Here's why. Would I be upset if we go get both? Hell no. Hell no. I would be very happy, but I'm thinking to the future too. If I'm being unselfish, I want to see JoJo, Nye, Chance. I want to see them get their shot. And them being sophomores this year, you don't want them to leave. They have years of eligibility left. Noah Thomas, I think, just has 1 year. Zach, I think, would only have 1 year. I would only bring one of those two guys and not both, if that makes sense. But Noah Thomas as a player, love him. Love him. 6'6", and he can move. He can move. Replace Horton for me. Yeah, he's 2 inches taller than Horton. I think he was a true freshman. You could be right. Let me see. Let me look up Noah Thomas really quick because I think he's got multiple years now playing under his belt. Thomas, ESPN. Let's see real quick. I'm sure people will say it in the comments. He played, you could be right because he played 2022, 23, and 24, 5 catches in 2022. That's the question. Did he redshirt in 2022? Because if he did, then redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore. Yeah, he would have technically 3 years of eligibility left, but I mean, a guy like that wouldn't use all of them. He could maybe be here a year or two. Let's see. Back to the DC talk. Jim Leonard will work magic with our DBs. 100%. That's another guy. Yes, Jim Leonard. Thank you for reminding me. Jim Leonard would be an amazing pickup. He'd be tied for first. As you know, it'd be him and Muschamp would be my top options. Who called those stunts? I hear varying answers on that. I hear that the D-line coach has a little to do with that, and the DC has a little to do with that. It's kind of a little bit of both. Man, competition. Please answers based on based on who think we hired. Are you excited about? Based on trying to understand that. Based on who I think we hired, am I excited about it? Yeah, I'm excited. Look, I'm excited simply because it's someone new. It's and look, they can get exactly who I want. That's the thing about coordinators. They can get exactly who I want. That doesn't mean it's going to work out. They can go out and get Jim Leonard. They can get Will Muschamp. It may not work well. I was super excited we got Josh Gaddis 2 years ago. He just won the Broyles Award. He beat Ohio State, made the playoffs, won the Big Ten. I was super excited about that, but it didn't go with who we had on the roster. It just culture-wise, schematically, nothing. It did not fit at all. So we will not know until, game one, and we actually see it on the field. But that being said, yeah, I'm excited because it's someone new and someone's probably bringing in, for the most part, their own staff. So I am cautiously optimistic. Again, just like with quarterback and everything, I'm cautiously optimistic they're going to bring in quality. Will it work? That's a question we're not going to be able to answer until August, unfortunately. Let's see. And those that weren't around 2000, 2001 years, watch those games. Amazing. Yeah. Well-oiled machine is what I would describe that as. John, what do you think about DeQuan Finn for QB? I don't know. I feel like we could do a little bit better. That's just me. He's not bad. But I think we could do a little bit better. I think it could be a splashier name for sure. We may need Noah Thomas for numbers wise at wide receiver. We lost a lot of receivers and only recruited 3. Yeah, no, I got you. But that's the other thing. I think Moore and what's this other kid's name? Dalen Upshaw. I think both can get playing time. That's the thing. So you got them, you got the 3 sophomores, and then you got Daniels and let's say you get Branch, for example. Would you still make room for Thomas on top of that? I don't know. I don't know if do you kind of potentially sacrifice the future, because you could potentially push a couple guys out in doing that and take snaps away from them. Would you sacrifice the future a little bit to bring in a guy like Noah Thomas now? Some would say yes. I respect your opinion. I just don't think that would be the way to go. Now, if things fall through with Branch and we don't get him, yeah, go all in for Noah Thomas, 100%. Yes, we need like 10 receivers. For numbers, but yeah, you got to remember though, no one's going to come in to be the 7th, 8th guy in the depth chart. They're going to come in to compete for starting snaps. You're counting on No, you're not counting on true freshmen to contribute. I'm just saying if they're players, you want them to get some snaps. That's just me. But I see what you're saying. You're going into thinking this out now. You're going into next season with guys with real game experience. I mean, JoJo, yeah, he has the 1 game. I trust JoJo. I think he's going to be really good next year with what he showed in the bowl game against a good secondary. JoJo's going to be fine. CJ Daniels, very, very experienced. Either Branch or Thomas, whoever it is, also very experienced. Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's 3 experienced guys and the rest are inexperienced. I get what you're saying. It's the question of, are you going to mortgage the future a little bit to try to win now? More scholarships, so the numbers should be good. No, you're right. They got the room to do it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I don't like the idea of taking away potentially snaps from those younger guys who can get in and get snaps and be quality. Does it matter what I think? No. They might do the opposite of what I say, so it doesn't really matter, but that's just my opinion. Yeah. John, do we have our quarterback? I'm not hearing anything is official. Let's just say that. But stay tuned. We could have a QB in the next few days, in the next week. This portal thing, it's fun to follow, but it's unpredictable. But I would say for the quarterback, stay tuned. I think something's coming down the pipe soon. I mean, aside from them having to get somebody because spring is right around the corner, something's coming soon. Josh Moore and Upshaw and Icard didn't see the field. No, I agree. But that's more reason to get them playing time is what I'm saying. Now, if you're going to bring in Noah Thomas and Zach Branch, hypothetically, I'm not saying they're going to, but let's say you bring in both, I think you got to rotate more. Even though we didn't, and it worked, we were the number one offense in the country last year. We were in a lot of close games. We couldn't rotate like we wanted to. I want to see these guys rotate and get serious playing time. So Emmy is not our quarterback for no. No, he's not. I would be shocked if it's him. Let's just say that. CJ Daniel and Branch, the vets. Yep. Carr and Chance needs to play this season. Yep. Fresh. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, but no, that was pretty much it, guys. I just wanted to come on here and cover the 3 pickups we got this weekend so far. I like them. Like I said before, if you're joining me late, go back, rewatch it. I covered all 3 guys. I like all 3 pickups. They all make sense. They all either provide quality depth or a potential. They can be a potential impact guy, which is what we needed, and we are addressing needs, which I love. But yeah, that's it for me. And before I go, we cover answer Vito's question. Mayava, I think he's very talented. The talent is definitely there. His issue is the turnovers. He turns the ball over too much. He puts the ball in harm's way too much. I don't want that. I don't want that here next year. Very talented, though. I mean, definitely a playmaker with his legs. Has an NFL arm. Has, when he throws in stride and he throws, with a clean pocket, very accurate. But, I see a little panic there when there's the rush and he's trying to, his legs want to run, but his arm wants to throw, and he gets caught in between and throws an interception, that kind of thing. I think he's got a little development to do. Could he develop into an NFL quarterback? Yes, he's got the tools to, but I don't know. Mayava, he also wouldn't be my first choice. Let's just put it that way. You know what? I'll answer one more. Juan Manuel says, Bustelo or Pilon Cafe? I go Pilon. That's the one I've drank the most throughout my life, I think, but can't go wrong with either of those, honestly. All right, guys, I got to run, but be sure to hit the like button and the subscribe button. I see 144 in the chat right now. Thank you for hopping on and hanging out with me and talking some Canes. Again, please hit the like button and the subscribe button, share with your friends. And as always, go Canes. Have a good night, everybody.